Rise with India podcast on ET Now.
Good morning and thanks for listening in. I'm Alex Matthew and today's the 10th of June. Here's everything that you need to know at the start of your day. The big headline is the outcome of the cabinet meeting that was held yesterday afternoon. Just ahead of the sowing season, the Union Cabinet has approved an increase in minimum support prices for all mandated Kharif crops for the marketing season of 2021-22. The government has increased the MSP of Kharif crops to ensure remunerative prices to growers for their produce, according to a statement released by the Cabinet Committee on Economic Affairs. The price hike ranged from 1 to 6.6% across crops. Now, in its economic review report for May, the Finance Ministry has said that front-loading of fiscal measures planned in this year's union budget would be essential to revive consumption and investment in the upcoming quarters. The report also said that the economic fallout of the second wave of COVID-19 may be restricted to the first quarter of the ongoing financial year amid the peaking of the second wave in the first half of last month and localized restrictions imposed to combat its spread. There's a lot of action coming up in the primary markets here in India. Half a dozen companies including Sona BLW Precision Forgings, Sham Metallics and India Pesticides will hit the primary market in the next 4 weeks to raise collectively as much as 10,500 crore rupees in IPOs, while another 6 firms are finalizing plans to raise funds in the next 2 months. In other news, Twitter has said that it has appointed officials temporarily to comply with the new IT rules and sought time to hire permanent staff as well as opening an office in the country. It has cited the COVID pandemic as the reason for the delay. The microblogging platform, in its response to the government following the last notice that was sent on Saturday, said that the company is hiring a chief compliance officer in a few days and latest within a week. Now, in more corporate news, FMCG major Dabur has initiated contempt proceedings against Marico and its directors before the Delhi High Court for allegedly failing to adhere with the court's order and undertaking given by Marico to change its honey packaging, which Dabur has claimed was similar to its own. In international news, European Union lawmakers on Wednesday endorsed a new travel certificate that will allow people to move between European countries without having to quarantine or undergo extra COVID-19 tests, paving the way for the pass to start in time for summer. Now, there's a big update in the cryptocurrency world. El Salvador, which is a country in Latin America, has become the first country to formally adopt Bitcoin as legal tender after the country's President Nayib Bukele said that Congress approved his landmark proposal. In sports, Rafael Nadal has reached a record extending 14th French Open semi-final on Wednesday with a 6-3, 4-6, 6-4, 6-0 win over Diego Schwartzman, setting up a potential last 4 showdown with world number 1 Novak Djokovic. And with that, it's over to Rohit Singh for the trade stuff for the day in India. Morning, Rohit. How are we looking today?
Good morning, Alex. It wasn't a great looking chart on Wednesday. Stocks pulled back sharply, retreating midday from highs. The market senses that the trigger was a fresh COVID outbreak in a Chinese province, prompting the abrupt reversal. The market breadth was clearly in favor of the sellers. Reliance was the biggest drag on Sensex. This pullback also shows the nervousness among investors at record highs, but we'll need more clues to say if sellers are now in control. Meanwhile, the measure of volatility remains subdued below 15. Flows into equity mutual funds soared to a 14-month high in May, according to AMFI numbers. But yesterday, the street was in the mood to sell. Foreign investors were net sellers of shares worth 850 crore rupees, while domestic investors sold shares worth 270 crore rupees in the cash segment. Ahead of the inflation reading, US stocks were in the pullback mode. Dow fell for third day while the 10-year US yield fell below 1.5%. The world will also track ECB's moves this evening on any hint of winding up support for Europe's economy after the pandemic. Let's look at the names that will be active this morning at opening bell. The Adani Group has begun talks to separate its airport business from holding entity Adani Enterprises. This is the first step towards listing the business, according to news reports. Reliance Power's board will consider raising long-term funds at a board meeting on Sunday. This comes a week after Reliance Infra declared its fundraising plans. JSW Steel has sought to sue 3 American steelmakers over conspiring to stifle competition. The 3 companies refused to sell raw material to JSW's US pipe and plate making operations. GAIL India has plans to monetize 2 pipelines via the InvIT route. State Bank of India has told shareholders that it is too early to take a call on the impact of second wave on asset quality. The bank maintains that the recovery of stressed assets will stay on track this year. Among important numbers, watch out for result reactions for Bata. Investors should also keep a lookout for about a half a dozen companies that will take the IPO route in the next 4 weeks. Together, they'll look to raise over 10,000 crore rupees. To recap, many experts are advising caution just in case we are in a downward vortex of correction. That's all from my end. Wish you a profitable day ahead. It's back to you, Alex.
Thanks, Rohit. And as always, thank you all for listening in. This is Alex Matthews signing off. Have a great day.
The Rise with India podcast on ET Now.